and welcome to Spirit Rising. I'm Maryellen.
And I'm Minnassa.
Thanks for being here.
Indeed. All right, so now I want you guys to know that Maryellen's being all coquettish right now, and she knows she's going to be the star of this show today. So I want to just talk about, like last month was our Black History Month celebration, and we talked about Black joy. And we had special guest, Lily. And so if you don't know it already, Maryellen is our guest speaker for our Women's History Month celebration, which will be this Sunday or when you see it. And I had a great talk with your dad today. We were talking about all sorts of things, about him being at the abyss, right, when he was sick. But I said to your dad, there's so many things about you that I like, and so many things about you that are special. Like I had him laughing when I told her dad that my daughter hates everybody. Now, Lily loves everyone, but like Lily not trying to be your friend. So she was telling me something. Oh, I had lunch with Maryellen. So in my mind, that initial time, I thought, oh, you must have cornered her and like forced her to go with you or something, right? And she, but then you're like, I told your dad, you remember the time I tried to do something like with the podcast and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, me and Lily are having lunch. Just like, I love that for my daughter to feel comfortable around you, to feel, like to call you her sister, she's not like that. And so that really meant a lot to me. And then, what I consider a special relationship when I very first got here. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You okay?
Like,
okay. How you took such good care of me that when I came here for my candidating and after that, it means a lot to me when someone takes care of the people that mean something to me. So the fact that my daughter thinks you're special, you got Gail, her whiskey, and then wouldn't even give it to me. You wanted to bring it to the house yourself. So all that means a lot to me. But in the conversation with your dad, I said to him that I felt like you were the blossom of the work that like Reverend David LeBeau and your dad had done. And that you may have taken a circuitous route to get there, right? You didn't stay in the church forever, but something drew you back to that. And of course, the work that your father does, and even, Ann and your mom, that's sort of working on your mind, working on your consciousness was going to get you. But to me, that is and take all my hands off all the things that I love about you. That to me, it is hope for the center. To have this blossom that was planted a long time ago. And so part of the reason that's the work that I do with the kids and all that yes, this is the blossom. This is the work. This is your parents' prayer. This is, you think, well, my dad's being hard on me, or Ann, shut up. I don't care what you have to say, or Jody, right? At all those times, I think about the tragedies. We've never talked about it, but you've had some great loss in your life. But I see the blossom. And that is what I thought, well, who else would I have speak? Because, last year we didn't have a special guest. It was me. Huh. If you remember. And so I am this year really wanting to make space for those who, their energy, that who you are is what I want sown into the congregation. Bring up that seed. So like Mabry, to have that young woman, let that energy come, that there's value there. And so to have you as well. Now, I had a whole conversation with your dad about how my generation, his generation, that when it comes to spiritual work, or talk about even those of us who grew up in Christianity, we know about commitment. You come to church on Sunday, you do this, even giving, where this current society, almost, you're like a Gen X, right?
Yep.
So almost just right under you, this is like the convenience world, and what is in it for me? And so to talk about spiritual formation and discipleship are very foreign concepts. And so to me, you're right at that place. And then I'm so thrilled to have you on the leadership team.
Thank you.
Which I told your dad was like an act of Congress, the Pope, name the god, Shiva, Vishnu, Allah, all of them had to get involved in that. And of course the goddesses too, we don't leave out Kali and Yamoja. I mean, just like they was like, y'all, come on now, I need all this energy. God, get my grandmother, all my ancestors in on this. Because again, for any community to thrive, right? Because we're not just surviving, we're thriving. You have to have that next generation, your thoughts, the way, even how I talked about, we're going to just have this meeting on the weekend, on Mother's Day weekend, we're going to do it on this Saturday. Well, I'm like, Well, me and the other people, yeah, we got kids, but they're not worrying about us. But Mary Ellen's not in that place. So I was like, are your kids? Are they doing it? Right? So it makes us think differently and move differently and see differently. And that is so important. Oh, Mary Ellen. So and what you're talking about this Sunday is so important. You know, women, our contributions not seen, not valued. Oftentimes we're not going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, and yet there would be no United States. Just like there'd be no United States without the free labor of enslaved people, there'd be no United States without the free labor of women. But in the home and in our community, that it must be honored. So why don't you talk a little bit about what you're going to be sharing on Sunday?
Thank you so much for asking this question. And oh, wow. I'm looking forward to it. And it came about because you reminded me that I was the guest speaker.
I know, I'm like, Lily, you're doing the Women's History moment with Mary. Oh, I am? I'm like, the minute she heard you were going to speak her, she said she was going to do it. And then I had to remind her. These youngins.
So I started thinking, what in the world am I going to share? And the journalist in me was like, well, let's look up some statistics. How are women doing in 2026 in the United States? And it was outlook not good. There were some bright spots, but mostly I sat with all those statistics and I felt terrible. Like it was like,
so what were the statistics that got you ruminating?
Just the continued less pay. Significantly less pay. Working harder for less. And this invisible labor stuff was really the thing that got me. And I was like, I had heard of it before, but it was vague. And so I thought, and because I was doing this invisible labor, it was visible to me.
Yes.
And so then I was like, what does this really mean? So I started looking into it, and the statistic is that, 80% of unpaid labor in the US is done by women. And I was like, this is staggering. And it felt like something that I could at least bring into my own consciousness about, and that maybe it was useful to others as well. And it's not like a judgment. It's not like, oh, men are bad, men are not doing this work. It's like, this is information. And so what we do with it is up to us. But it's been a month now or so that I've had this in my being, like walking around in my life and observing the things that I do and say yes to and pick up and carry. And it's been fascinating. And I'm making a lot of changes, and I'm inviting my boys to do more. And James has really gone into action, and I'm asking for help. I'm receiving help. I'm very clear now. I think, I've been learning about this, saying no and saying yes, and like being pretty clear about those two things. But it's even gotten more pronounced. So I'm making the invisible visible for myself. And it's made a world of difference. So I hope that it's useful to other folks too.
And say, well, is this what you're going to talk about? Again, this is about the consciousness. If you don't value if you don't value people, you don't see them, then we have our namaste moment on Sunday. Are you really namasteing or not? Can you see them holistically? Yes, you're a nice person at the center, but do I see you as knowing, like, wow, look what you do. Look how you give. Look where you serve. I think about in every office is women working overtime or coming in early to get things set. So when the boss and all the other men show up, stuff is straight. And in some ways, they have no idea, right? Because I come in and it's like this.
Done. Exactly.
But again, that lack of thought, that not seeing and valuing. Right. There is a consciousness of knowing that everyone is valued and not just taking things for granted. Valuing the work, the unseen work. That is, map of consciousness, right?
Yes, exactly.
Again, understanding that people are valued not just for what they do, but for who they are. Yeah. But if you can't see all the things that they bring to the table, expand your vision.
Yeah. I've noticed for me, it accumulates over time, and I just pick things up without even thinking about it because I can do it all. I I'm like amazing at doing it all.
Oh, yes, preach it, girl.
But I was sitting with Matt Rowe in the center, and we were talking, and I'm still getting to know him. He's new. He's a new member. And we were chatting, and he was like, how are you? And I, before I even thought, I said, I'm burnt out. I didn't know him very well, but he took it really well. He was just like, oh. And, but it stayed with me. And I was like, oh, honey, like, what is going on? You know, what's this about? But I think I've been living this way for a long, long time. And it's not like you can do your self-care and you can have your, you know, go to yoga or whatever that helps me to get back into my spaciousness. Mm-hmm. But sure, it makes a big difference if I can look at things and say, wait a second, maybe I'm not going to pick this up, or maybe I'm going to share this opportunity with someone else. Something that also I've been thinking a lot about, and I don't really know what I'm talking about, but.
Oh, don't say that. Let's take that out of the link. You do know what you're talking about.
You said in that message about healing the gender divide, mm-hmm. you were talking, some of it was about men, and it was so refreshing to hear you and anyone talk about men and the issues that men deal with also. That the same system that diminishes women also diminishes men. Yes. And that percentage last year, 2024-25, the suicide rate, 80% of those people were men, and how tragic and sad that is. And isn't that weird? I thought, well, 80% of women do unpaid labor. So again, not to oversimplify things, but I do think there is something about like allowing and inviting men to be caregivers, to tend, to cook, to clean, to do the things that women do without thinking, and kind of nurture more of that and invite men into that, because these are good things. Like caregiving is beautiful and we benefit from it. These are not bad things. Cooking is lovely. You know, this is all wonderfully nourishing, and we all can do it, and we all need it, and we all benefit from it.
Your magic word is what we do without thinking. And so again, as women, we just unconsciously want to serve. We unconsciously want to make everything well. We unconsciously want to fix. So that's creating a stress for us. And why are you all stressed out? Well, you don't even know why. It's because you're so busy trying to make everyone else happy. So busy trying to make sure things in the house are fine. So busy trying to make sure everything at work is fine. Right again, bring it to the consciousness. When you're doing things unconsciously, you know, I had a whole chat with your dad about me being on Weight Watchers, and he was so proud of me, and I was like, yeah, okay. Unconscious eating. If you are not aware that you're stuffing down cookies and donuts and, oh my God, that amazing tuxedo cake that they have at Sam's Club, right? Then you wonder why you're in the hospital because you had a heart attack and a stroke, or you can't tie your shoes, right? You say, well, I don't eat that much. Unconscious. Same with drinking. We had a man, I worked at the hospital, and said, well, how much you drink? Well, I don't drink. Well, they could smell the alcohol on him. So I don't drink. So finally, they, you know, they had to change it because they said, what, do you drink liquor during the day? I do not. So finally, somehow they got him to say that he drank beer. Where in his mind, beer is not liquor. Right? Beer's not vodka or tequila or bourbon. Okay, but it still has alcohol in it. And when you drink 2 6-packs every day, you're drinking. But again, unconscious about your behaviors. This whole story, the free labor that women do, unconsciously, it's my job. I saw, I think it was on a podcast where a woman said that when you get married, this whole new set of responsibility comes to you. You got to know your husband's mother's birthday, the dad's birthday. All of a sudden, the whole things that you were doing for your family, knowing their birthdays, now all of a sudden you're responsible for his mother's birthday gift and their anniversary gift. And we just, like you said, we can do it all. This isn't about capacity or ability, but it's about what is best for us. And so, boom, you just, without even thinking, now I make sure your mom gets her presents. Get her stuff on Mother's Day. It is when we embody, that's where the power is. When we embody, then we're participating in the law of reciprocity. So what I give out will come back to me. Say, well, that's very selfish. No, that's spiritual law. That is spiritual law. You reap what you sow. So if you're doing things unconsciously, I want people to like me. I want people pleaser. I want to make myself seem important. You're sowing. That's an emptiness. So when you sow empty, you get more of not enough. There's not that. But when you can consciously say, okay, Christoph, I done picked this thing up 12 times and I'm your mom and I love you. And so now I'm conscious of this. So now we need to have a conversation, or Augustine, or James, or Lily, or Raven, right? Again, it's being conscious in what you do that activates the laws. You know, people watch The Secret and like, oh, I want all this good in my life. Conscious. What are you consciously sowing? This is about connecting to your divinity, your oneness, and moving from there. So when you see Maryellen flexing, right, this is her coming into that alignment with her divinity.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for the opportunity. I think I was asking you, how do you get up there and talk in front of people? Because I'm an introvert and it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing to do. And I'm like, how do you do that so well? And you're like, well, you can do it for Women's History Month. And so here I am. But I'm standing on the shoulders of so many people.
Oh, yeah.
And so many people have poured into me my entire life. And so, of course, I wanted to, and I needed to create space for myself to do it. And I think we're missing, I don't know, I'll speak for myself. I was missing something before thinking about all the invisible things I was doing. I was missing out on the spaciousness that I needed to rest and that I needed to be creative and to find things that help me to thrive and feel powerful.
Yes. End of message. And so it is, right? That again, so very interesting. You talked about healing the gender divide. So this month, our Women's History Month, I began with a message about honoring and loving men, which would seem to be counterintuitive. But just like you said, the toxic system of patriarchy that diminishes women is diminishing men. So you talk about the suicide rate. Women, we already know some kind of jank happens in our lives. I'm going to go cry about it. I'm going to call up my girlfriend and we're going to cry about it. We're going to go have shopping therapy. We're going to go have brunch. I'm going to journal about it. I'm going to pull my tarot cards about it. I'm going to pray about it, right? All those spiritual aspects to women, and all of those are important, and there's no priority of them. But what patriarchy says is, men, you don't have those capacities. So when you're upset or unhappy, deal with it. And so when you continually internalize things, it's affecting your body. It's affecting your system. So men are having heart attacks at rates that are just going off the charts, right? Ulcers, mental breakdowns. Because the system that says women can be emotional and just feel all sorts of stuff that tells men they cannot. Everybody feels. It's insane to think that people don't feel. Yeah. So when you don't have a way to do that, so why do we got so many angry white men? Is it because black people are making them angry? No, because women are making, no, because we don't let them have any other feelings than that. And that's dumb. Right? Men, you talk about men that are water signs. So Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. You know, so all that intuitive, emotional, oh my God, sometimes they're the worst men because in this way is that they have all those feelings, all that intuition, all that work, and they don't have the tools to deal with it. Yeah. So then when you're interacting with them, it's like, right? Let men cry. You know why? Sheesh, that's like so natural. Like no one said, now, I'm sure that your mom and your dad didn't sit you down and say, now, Maryellen, when you feel sad, I want you to tell your eyes. I want you to release liquid, right? That is right? Yeah. That is a natural thing. Why would we tell men that they can't do that? Yeah. That is natural. And to feel things, to feel happy, to feel sad, to feel frustrated. Yeah. And so, again, honoring, just saying stuff, honoring. Yeah. I feel this way. I think just having this conversation. So part of the work that you did with what is the Healer's Code?
Yeah.
What is it?
Cracking the healer's
Cracking
code.
the healer's code.
Yep.
That part of her thing is that if we could convince white Americans that prejudice and bigotry and racism is as bad for them as it is for black and brown people, they would be like, oh my God, we got to destroy this system.
Yeah.
Same thing with patriarchy. And part of patriarchy is you're undervalued. Women are undervalued. If women just said enough, we're not going to work, we're not taking whatever we do for our kids, and we're not doing that in one day. One day this country be revolutionized. Yeah. Because you would say, oh my God, I didn't know you did that. You just assumed that when you got here everything was in order? Well, you were so good at it, I just thought it was something you'd like to do. It may very well be, but don't dishonor what's given. So I am excited about the work. I'm looking forward.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I finally get to meet James too, right?
He said he's coming, so he's a little afraid he might incinerate and go into flames.
That's fine. We got I was gonna say, I think we have a flame. What is that thing? Fire extinguisher. Yeah. We'll work it out. Someone to tackle him and pat him out.
Yes. And what you were saying about internalized, the messaging that we internalize, it's unreal to me that I'm still unpacking stuff and finding things and like, whoa, what's that? I don't need that. It's just amazing. And I feel like this is the work I need to do, and I encourage everyone to do, just because you might not even realize that's the thing. It's pervasive, it's persistent, it's internal, and it comes out in weird ways and times. And so, my beginning point is just noticing like, oh, I remember becoming, I was a stepmom before I was a biological mom. My first husband had a son who's lovely, and I met him when he was 6 years old. And I was like, I am not doing anything except for paying attention to this sweet boy. I just stopped. I stopped doing anything that was my own to start a family because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And even now at 47, I still am like, oh, I just thought because I was a woman and a mom, that was just my role. But that's not true. It's not true. And
that's
so
right. You saw she looked straight into the camera like she's letting you know.
True.
Right? Because again, unconscious. Unconscious. And what we did is we watched our mothers suffer in silence. Right? And I'm not talking about getting beaten and stuff, but suffering, saying, no, I'm going to get these together. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you think, okay, that's the way we do it. Yeah. Right? And then I show Lily. You show your sons. Yeah, okay. She does this stuff, and this is what's expected of her. Again, unconscious. And the beautiful word, I heard unlearning, but you said letting go. That one of the things I feel that the true journey of spiritual growth, of discipline and spiritual formation is unlearning. Yeah. All those things that make you play small. All those things that you're expecting someone outside of you to save you. Mm-hmm. Right? Cinderella.
That's right.
Here comes the prince.
Yeah.
Snow White. Here comes the prince. Here they come.
Right.
Here's this person outside of me. And then think of the reverse of that when we talk about men. Mm-hmm. That means you have to be the savior. Mm-hmm. You have to make everything right. Mm-hmm. You have to be strong. All that. It's like, okay, well, that's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we can become conscious of the way gender roles. Yeah. Like this whole thing about girls wear pink and boys wear blue. Okay, show me where is that?
Yeah.
Right? How,
Yeah.
Well, you can't put a baby boy in pink. Well, why not? Or a girl, why not? Right? That is so unconscious. Mm-hmm. There's no thing about that. That's something that probably Gerber made up or some company, and actually it was going to be in the reverse. That boys were going to wear pink because red is the underpinning of pink, and red is about power.
Wow.
And that the girls wear blue because, girls are calm and like the river, right? So there could have been a day when that would have been reversed. So people fight so hard for that, and it's like, why? Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean you want to be called they? Are you a boy or a girl? Mm-hmm. I'm both and neither. Mm-hmm. Okay, why does that even matter? Mm-hmm. Again, things that we do and think about unconsciously. Mm-hmm. And as women, without even work. Like, what did you ever have a like an accountant set when you were a kid? No, they gave you a doll. I remember my mom had this gorgeous little kitchen set.
Yeah.
I stayed at my aunt and uncle's house, and then I came home on Christmas morning, and she had redid my room. It was like a little kitchen set, and I love the pictures. I'm like styling and profiling in the pictures, like, yeah, look at me. Right, but you don't think. Now, Gail was a nerd from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So her parents gave her like that, like a chemistry set thing. I know there's a word for it, yeah. But still, she did also have dolls. And unfortunately for her dolls, they all got diseases because she was doing... It's like, okay, let's just leave that over here. But again, most women aren't given an accountant set or an attorney set or would you like to be a business owner. That stuff's not taught to us.
Yeah.
And so in an unconscious way and subconscious way,
Yes.
we're being taught this is what's important for you to do. So Lillian Raven had this Barbie.
Oh.
I'm just saying, her hair,
Oh, no.
I don't know what happened. Barbie may thee rest in peace, right? But again, so even in unconscious and the subconscious ways, says here's where your value lies. So then don't be mad when you pick up and clean up the house and no one says anything because that's your value.
Yeah.
And then over here, when you're trying to struggle and be all this for everybody instead of, right, most men probably couldn't even identify their own selves. Not having any friends. That's just harmful.
Yeah.
But this is what society feeds us. And so we take that. This being a manly man. Did anyone even question that? And then what it means to be, total, beautiful woman. Have your hair long, get your nails done, always wear like a dress or something. We just take that in. And it's fed to us in so many different ways. So when you talk about that process of releasing, of saying, does this belong to me or not? Unlearning. Because it's all around us in so many ways.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily an easy process. I've had some hard conversations with myself and with the kids and with James, but I can see things changing and it's helpful. So yeah, I think that it's time to make this shift as a community, as a society, as much as we can. Because what's happening right now, it's not good, and it's not going to change.
Yes, men running amok.
Yeah.
Men that don't know how to connect with their feelings. Right. Men that don't have a social network that empowers and then also confronts them. You had wanted to talk about where I said in the message that when a woman flexes her muscles, it's always an issue.
Yes.
Right? But women, we know how to confront one another. Whether it's now, baby, I need to talk to you, or, Maryellen, let's have lunch, right? I'm going to have that conversation with you, but oftentimes men don't have that. And so when I talked about how Hillary Clinton, under the authority of the president, flexed her muscles or did what she was supposed to do about Benghazi. Then when she's out of power, they want to put her 11-hour deposition or whatever for doing what? Flexing her power. And that oftentimes, for me, or as a woman in ministry, when I speak in authority or, people love me when I'm sweet and kind, which I am like 3% of the time now. That is my basic personality. I love people. But I am also very protective of this community. And so when someone tells me I'm going to do this, and then you don't do that, and it causes all sorts of challenges, and I say, well, this was my expectation, and this is the result, so we're going to take care of it. We're going to move forward. Then all of a sudden, that person's like, well, I don't like the minister at that church. Okay, that's fine, right? Because this is about having courageous conversations. Yeah. Most of us can't have courageous conversations with other people because we don't even have them with ourselves. Yeah. We don't tell ourselves the truth. We hide about it, right? Or we're going to stuff it down. Food, drink, right. And so again, curiosity, courage, all things that are minimized, right? Don't ask, just do. Don't think about it, just do it. And it's created a society of people, we don't talk about religion and politics. So right now, religion and politics are tearing this country apart in some ways. And why? Because one, we don't have a way to have a conversation about it. because we don't talk about that. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And so, yes, to come back to as we're celebrating our Women's History Month, which is our second celebration. I think it's very funny. You hire a woman and a black woman, and so you have Black History Month, and then you have Women's History Month, right?
I was thinking we should just keep them going all year round, like right now, this year.
You have an LGBTQ woman also, so we'll have. We did Pride last year, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So for voices to be heard, but. I was giggling to myself because last year, I think for Women's History Month, you did the Women's History Moment.
I did one of them.
You did Ida Wells Barnett.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, she was talking about her, and then she said, Ida wasn't able to do this because white society was against her, and these white people, and she must have said that like 8 times, and I was telling Lily, like, I was thinking, I'm going to have to grab Mary Ellen's hand and run out of the church. But what I appreciate is that, yes, tell the truth. Say, right? She wasn't saying it, Mary Ellen's sweet. So she wasn't saying it in an accusatory way, but she's saying, like you said, I looked up some facts about what's going on with women. And again, that courageousness to stand up in front of your father and your mom and your church and say, this is what happened and this is the reason. Because white Americans were not able to deal with the truth. Right? Once you say that, once the cat's out of the bag, then we can deal with it. But while it's in the bags, all squirming around, it's scratching you all up. And so I really appreciate that. And so I'm looking forward to you speaking and bringing that truth, sowing an additional seed into the congregation, bringing a different thought, showing people that, you don't have to have a seminary degree and be an ordained minister like I am to be able to bring a message. Right? And people did that before I got there. But let's, again, bring this encouraging word, this challenging word. Bring these facts and then say, how can we do something about it? Or in what ways are we able to free ourselves from that? Like if you didn't know you were in bondage and someone finally comes and says, those chains you're wearing, you don't have to wear those. I got the key to take them off. Actually, you had the key all along. So now am I going to unlock them or keep them on?
Yeah. I definitely don't want this to be about victimizing anyone, because we have so much power. And I just appreciated your messages always. And the healing the gender divide and powerful women in public and private spaces. I'm going to put both of those links in the comments below because there's such fantastic talks. I have such a new appreciation for what you do, having tried to put something together. So yes, if Minnassa ever asks you to speak, say yes. For sure. Yeah, it's been a great experience. And one of the things, so last week during your talk, I got to be with the kids, which was so joyful.
Correct, which was craziness, but we worked it out.
But I went back and listened to Minnassa's talk, and there were a few things that percolated, but one of them was the story about your great grandpa. I was wondering if you might.
This crazy story. So, this will really show sort of the divide in America, but how people look this way and look that way. So, my grandparents, on my mother's side, so my maternal grandfather, and my maternal great grandfather. So, my great grandfather, John Smith, is an immigrant and came here from Ireland. My great grandmother, now I think he was married to Lulabelle, which is how my mom refers to her grandmother. So wherever they were in Kentucky, now this is the strangest story, is that my great grandfather's brother also came from Ireland, and wherever they were in Kentucky, all the good white men in the town had their wives and lived in the house with them. And then across the tracks on the black side of town, they all had their little black girlfriend. Well, when my great-grandfather got here, he was cheap, a frugal thing in my family, which I throw off. He wasn't about to do that. So he just went with having his wife on the black side of town. So you can imagine then that the other black women were like, well, look at here. Look how this is going. So it was causing problems. So these white men were members of the Ku Klux Klan, as well as my great-grandfather's brother. And so what they were going to do was just burn down the shack, because it wasn't really a house, the shack that my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother and their kids lived in. Right? So his brother is a member of the Ku Klux Klan, so he told him, you better leave town right now. Not like, hey, don't do this, right? Because again, he's a man. He's not going to confront these other men and say, don't burn down my brother's house and kill my sister-in-law and the kids. So yeah, so they just got out of Dodge.
And they fled to Indiana.
I don't know why, probably closest.
Yeah.
And so then that's how my family ended up in Indianapolis.
Huh.
Again, so here's this whole thing about color that we want to talk about, and yet all these good men who were probably pastors and attorneys and talking all that good segregation stuff was creeping on the other side of town. And that's how it's always been. Just like I talked about being at the Cotton Club. All right, so white folks in from 8 to midnight, black folks in from midnight to 3, right? So we were near each other and we dancing to the same music, but we're not going to talk to each other or talk about it. That's the thing with this country. We would just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Admit we like the same things. It's all good. Again, it's taught, don't talk, stay away, stay in your place, and it's unconscious.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, and this has kind of been throughout your talks, even in meditation, sometimes you bring up Kroger and grocery shopping, and like, there she goes again, Kroger South.
I'm just saying, here, this town is divided by northeast, south, and west, and each one has a Kroger. So there's Kroger North, which is so small. And so I had a thing, I was going to go to every Kroger, which I did. Okay. So Kroger North is some other store that Kroger bought. That's what I was told. Marsh. Yeah. And it's so small, I cannot stand it is awful.
It's right there, I never go.
Yeah, it's like yuck. And then where I live on the south side of the town is Kroger South. Then the hoity-toity side of the town is Kroger East, which is called Kroguchi, which is... Was that also some other store? Because it's like double the size of a Kroger. So it has like at my Kroger North, and even at Kroger Ghetto, which is Kroger Seminary. Yeah. Like when you go in there, I can see to the back of the store. Where at Kroguchi, you cannot. You see to the next aisle. So in Kroger South, grocery stores, their guard are down, right? They're shopping, they're in their modes. I cannot tell you, so many smiles, people helping. It's just such a lovely place. And again, this is what Bloomington's all about. Here we are in the store. You don't know me, I don't know you, but getting smiles. Like one time I was shopping, and I love parsnip.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I was in the store and I thought, let me get a parsnip. So I just got my little parsnip and I was going my way. And then a lady came up to me who I did not know, and I've never seen her again. I don't know who she is. She says, "You inspired me." So I'm like, oh God, because there's people who know me from the church. So I'm thinking, oh Lord. She's like, I've been wanting to try those parsnips and you got one, so I got one too.
Wow.
Just saying, parsnip power.
Yeah.
So community, and that's what I love about this town, that it is a true community. Now, I've been on the west side, and west side's got its little, it's probably not as purple, more red, and I've gotten some of that treatment over there, and so I don't go over there. Right? So if I do go to Sam's Club, so I guess that's on the west side. But yeah, in the store, that's where you can meet your neighbors. Those are the people that live around me. And so, it's just my little special place.
I love it. Whenever you say it, I just giggle. I'm
like, Kroguchi is just too much. Like Raven and I were over there the other day because I had to go to the bank. And it was just like,
exhausting.
Yeah. Yes, it's like
it's huge. If you forget something, you're gonna.
And if half this, in the middle is like the groceries, the fruits and vegetables, and then over here is like all your detergent and pads and tampons and all this stuff, and then over here is like the hot food and the booze. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I go in that middle section. And if I need something on one of those other sections, I'm like, I'm getting it at Kroger South. I'm just going to go to my little store. I don't even go over there. And I do not go there during the school year.
Yeah, that's smart.
I went this week because it's spring break.
Yeah, that's right. Some safe times.
It's spring break. Indeed. I do want to talk about that. We are having our Women's History Month celebration. And there is so much to celebrate with women. We've had our Women's History moment where a woman has been celebrated. But one of the things that I talk about in our newsletter this week is let's put this celebration into action. Just like we talked about the seed time and harvest, or the law of reciprocity, that as you put that giving into practice, whether it's giving your love, giving yourself self-respect, giving your voice power to say, no, I'm not going to do this, or yes, this is what I do want to do, and you reap that, we also need to put our celebration in action. It's good, like, yeah, women, yeah, woman power, and then boom. So there are 3 organizations in this town, Middle Way House, My Sister's Closet, and Sojourn House, that help women. I think Sojourn House and Middle Way House help women who are sex trafficked, who are in abusive situations, who are trying to escape those things, and to help them. I think My Sister's Closet also does the same thing, but what I like about them is that when you need to go to an interview, if you just escaped a bad situation, a domestic violence, or even just trying to start, you got out of jail and you're ready to start your life over again, you're not going to have that suit. And I hate to say it, how qualified you are, if you come in there looking not right, they're going to remember the people that came in there before you. So when Gail passed away, my sweet Gail, I took all her business clothes to My Sister's Closet, and then her regular at home clothes, I gave those to Middle Way House, because again, when you're trying to escape and get out, you're not trying to grab your clothes. You're trying to grab your kids and get out, or grab yourself and get out. And then Sojourn House helps. Actually, I think Sojourn House actually helps women who are being trafficked internationally and things, because they're in a safe space to where it's not easy to get to them, where people are trying to get those people back. And so what I ask in the article is for people to donate. These women need help. Yay for Shirley Chisholm, and yay for Dianne Feinstein, and yay for Martha Washington and Eleanor Roosevelt. But there are women today who need help, who need to get to school, who need clothes for work, who need a safe place. If you've never felt unsafe, you don't know the beauty of a safe space. Like in my little house, I think my niece was concerned that I had abandoned her, and I was telling her dad, I'm going to come back to that house, right? That's my safe space. And so I ask, and for those of you who are watching, I've asked if you can donate, or wherever you live. If you're not in Bloomington, there is an organization that does the same thing. I think about how blessed I am. Yes, I live in a beautiful home. My wife and I created that space together. I had the prayer chaplains come over. I cannot tell you how much I've been able to do at that house. I have a car. I have clothes. I have food. I have a community. Those are some things. So when I have my little worries like, oh my God, it's 25 outside. I don't want to go outside. Right? There are women who would trade places with me in a hot minute. And so let us put our love into action, our spirituality into action. Let's walk our talk and donate to help these women. And you know, money, volunteer, you can give things. We'll have a graphic. Please go and check their website. That is the best way to celebrate Women's History Month, is by helping women who need a hand up, not a handout. They need a hand up.
Yeah. Thank you.
I will say, well, tell me, I don't know why I cannot get, what is your great niece's name again? Kalia. So we were, the children were stuck with a rank amateur last Sunday, which was me. Actually, I was a youth pastor, so, but we're going down the stairs. I think I told you, I took Kalia's hand. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was Kalia. So I took her hand while we were inside the chapel, and we were going down the stairs, and she gripped my hand a little tighter going down the stairs. So I thought, okay, let me make sure. And then when we got to the bottom, she looked at me like, you good? And then just let go of my hand and took off. And I thought, hilarious. I think she thought she was helping me down the stairs, where in my mind, I was helping her down the stairs. But, I talked about you as the blossom from the work that your father and Reverend LeBeau have done, and those who sewed. I think about Cricket and Debbie Anderson, who had the youth group. Merity was a part of the youth group, right?
She was my youth group teacher.
Right? So we have this group of mighty, powerful people who have sown into our youth, and so we have this blossom rising, and I see that same thing, that we are able to sow into the youth, but there are women in our beautiful community who are isolated. And so we're working on that. Y'all don't know about Miss Jonna, but when she gets an idea in her mind that it's something for me to do, she handed me a book last week. Right, she wants to have a men's group. And I will tell you that I spoke to what I consider one of the most emotionally intact and emotionally connected men, Dan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? I'm like, Dan, wouldn't you love to do a men's retreat? He's like, no, I wouldn't love to do that at all. And I mean, I was so shocked, like for a minute, I couldn't even speak. And if you know me, I was like literally, I'm like, Dan said no? Like I couldn't even wrap my mind around it because of all the men. I knew he was going to say yes. So once my voice came back to me, I was like, Dan, what do you mean? No. Like I could. So when I said, well, wouldn't you like to be able to have a time where you could meet with men and just hang out and have fun? Maybe do your barbecuing or have a trip where you guys can get away from the pressures. Oh, he's like, oh yeah, I would love to do that. Oh. And I'm like, that's the men's retreat, right? But again, if we said to any woman, would you like to go on a woman's retreat? Oh my gosh, right? So again, people, even the men in our congregation. And so I'm excited to see you as that first blossom coming. We are sowing the seeds. If you don't know already, for Mother's Day, Elsa Cheney is going to be our guest speaker. So I don't know if she's 11, 12, or 13. If you remember last year for our first Youth Sunday, and we'll probably do that again in August, I had 9-year-old, she's 10 now, but 9-year-old Mabry. And do you know that girl had the nerve to tell me she's ready to speak again?
Wow.
Right? That's how we do that. Allowing opportunity, letting men, women, and children know you matter. That yes, I am leading the show, but there's no show without people, right? So if I just show up every Sunday and I'm like preaching away and there's no one in the pews, what's the point? This is a community, and I'm pointing the way, and I'm pulling people with me, and they're saying, well, let's go this way. And then I say, okay, this is the way we're going, right? It's not about my way or the highway. We'd have peanut butter and jelly at the church every Sunday if it was my way. But this is the path, and this is it takes people who are willing to say yes. It takes people who are willing to traumatize me with, no, I don't want to have a men's retreat. What do you mean? It takes people like Jonna who has that big heart and says, here's a book about helping men. The book that I spoke about on healing the gender divide was a book that Jonna told me about. You know, we're setting up the prayer chaplains. So 8 women who, I mean, by the end of that weekend, I was transformed. That group of women, the depth, the connection, the commitment. Wow. Our choir's growing.
Yep.
To have Matt Rowe join the church, to have a man under 50 say yes. Right? And we've had James and Louise. So, you know, you need the right blend.
Yes. Yeah.
And so for me, when I think about Black History Month and Women's History Month, I really see a community. That is what's helped Black Americans survive. It's what kept women. We had our community. And so when I look at unity and I see all those components, I'm excited about what we're doing there and what not is coming, because it's already there. It's just blossoming. So that's why I think I see you're like one of the first blossoms, but we have so much stuff ready to come up.
Thank you. And it takes you as a leader to keep that spark, and but it's good. And when you ask me something, often my immediate response is, no, I can't do that. But then I come around usually.
That's true. And if you can't, then no is no.
Right. That's okay too.
Right. Like we're like, can you do this? You're like, no.
And we can
and
do
then
things
once
together
I said, shoot, I should have. You told me you were getting ready to get out of the car. I should have stopped the conversation. Right. And you were like, yeah, I should have stopped the conversation. Right. And then once you had a time to think about it.
Yeah.
Again, and that's the whole point. Can we converse? You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, come, let us reason together. That's all we got to do. Doesn't mean we have to agree all the time. But can we reason together? Can we sit down and talk about it? Can you hear my perspective? Can you see my point of view?
We're so lucky. I feel so lucky to have you as a leader, to be that force to keep us.
This community it's everything it presented itself to me. And that's usually not the case if you've ever gone to a new pastor. And they allow me to be me. Now, some folks have had enough of me, and okay, but they allow me to be me and to speak and to have a big vision. You know, I don't know if you remember, I'm like, yeah, we're going to get that bottom level back. And people are like, oh, no. Well, now we're getting the bottom level back.
It's happening.
Right? All those things. Growing our youth ed. I mean, now we're at a place where like, oh, we got to get baby furniture. Right? So they allow me to say, this is my crazy dream. And they go, it's crazy, but we're with you. It's teamwork. There's no congregation that, yes, I'm a professional speaker and I bring that to the work. My seminary education, my years of ministry, all those things come to play into what I do. But again, one of my mentors as a kid said, if you're a leader and no one is behind you, you're just taking a walk.
It's really good.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have this community that in my mind isn't walking behind me. We're locking arms and we're walking forward together.
Yeah. I can't imagine this moment without you. I mean, yeah.
And y'all waited a long time and
thank you.
Put me through some hoops, but here we are. Yeah. But you needed to, and I'm glad. Yeah, I can't imagine like what my life would be like if I didn't live in Bloomington, minus the snow. But
but today's the first day of spring, so yeah, sunshine is coming.
It is here.
Yeah.
And so it's good. It is good to be in a growing community, in a thriving community, even in a community where there's conflicts. Because if there's no conflict, there's no truth happening. There's no people coming from their heart. And yeah, we don't have that many conflicts, but you know, you gotta have it. Yeah. How to do this? What is the best way forward?
I'm so glad you're bringing the truth, and I know that sometimes it sounds like you get a little bit.
I get pushback. But you know, again, it's always done in love. Now, there's a couple times where people didn't like it and they were, I'm going to leave the church. So in my mind, I'm like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. But that didn't come out my mouth.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you can't be corrected and your option is to run away.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's so grateful the teachings of unity are all about growing in consciousness.
Growing in consciousness. And so, yes, the most of the pushback I get is people saying, I didn't understand, or where did that come from? Or you said that, but I disagree. And then we can talk about it.
Nice.
Right, because my whole thing now is there's a lot of stuff that's unity, and there's a lot of stuff that's new age in unity. And so that new age line is not Murdo and Charles Fillmore.
That's right.
Or H. Emily Cady, or Emerson. So there is a place where they meld, so let's talk about that. Good. Oh, Maryellen, so much to talk about.
Thank you.
But I am thrilled. Let me just put on the record that I am thrilled and overjoyed to have this young woman, not just as the guest speaker, not just as one of the newest members on the board of directors, but as someone who loves me, supports me, and someone that I'm able to do that same thing to, as a member of my family, per Lily's command. I appreciate you, Maryellen, in ways that I can't say. You are a safe space for me.
Oh,
and so, oh Lord, it's getting all mushy, but it's true, right? Give people their flowers before their funeral.
Absolutely.
So,
tell people you love them. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. The first time your dad told me, I was like, what? He said, I love you, Minnassa. I said, I love you too, Michael.
Yep. That's how it is.
It is how it is. All right.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And
yes.
We'll see you next month.